You ever like think to yourself, like, being an adult, it kind of sucks. But then there's like, choices and freedom and like disposable income. All of that's fun and great, especially disposable income. And I use that. I'm what some would call a collector of physical media. Now, some cynical people would say, Justin, you're a hoarder. All you're doing is hoarding DVDs. And that cynical person would be my wife, Latoya. But I digress. So I consider myself a collector, a curator of cinematic pieces of art in the form of DVDs. Now, before we go any further, I have to introduce myself. My name is Justin, and this is 24 Thoughts Per Second, where we don't just like review movies or give them a score. We think about them and we have thoughtful conversations. So, Barnes and Nobles, they have a 50% off sale twice a year on Criterions. And I take full advantage of it. This is my opportunity to go out and nerd out inside the Barnes and Noble store, look at all of these movies, nerd out on criterion.com, and choose the movies that I'm going to add to my collection this season. And I just wanted to take you through some of the pieces, some of the art pieces, some of the cinematic art pieces that I picked up. This one I had no idea about. What caught me was the image. This is great artwork. It's called The West Indies, The Future Slaves of Liberty, a film by Med Hondo. I hope that I'm saying your name right. I went on YouTube and I looked at the trailer and I was just drawn in. The images are so beautiful. It's from 1979. Apparently, it is in French. It is about French imperialism. Anything musical, anything black and musical, I'm down. It's interesting because earlier in the week I was having a conversation with my family. My wife's family is from the West Indies. They're Barbadian. And we were having a conversation about like the differences and the similarities and the ideas that are pervasive in like Black American culture versus West Indian culture. And I just thought this was like be cool to add to the library and listen to other people's conversations about something similar. Always got to pick up an action film. Don't know anything about it. I looked at the trailer. It was dope. You could pull me in with anything with a gun and a sword. And the blade seems to have some swords, so I am down. I love watching action films, and generally when Criterion adds an action film, they do it for a reason, and it's probably something dope. So I had to pick it up. I have like a whole section in my Criterion where I'm just like collecting like Asian cinema. Um, so yeah, the blade. Blue Boo Travail. I have no idea how to say that. It's a Claire Denis film. I could say Claire Denis is 1999. It's in French with English subtitles. I hate things with subtitles. But when you enjoy Criterions, you have to get into the things with subtitles. I hate subtitles because it kind of takes me out of watching the film. I like to just like really engulf myself with the image. But if I have to keep moving my eye up and down, it's kind of annoying. My daughter thinks that's silly because she's always watching like the Korean dramas, like the Thai dramas. But it was the images in this. I was listening to somebody talk about Criterions and they talked about this, and it was featured, and I was kind of just like engulfed with the beauty of the images, and I'm like, this is something interesting. I don't have to know everything about a film for me to pick it up. Sometimes I just want it to be a surprise. Sometimes I want that adventure, and I'll just go with something that just really pulls me in. And it was just the imagery that pulled me in the trailer. All right, cool. So One False Move. Bill Paxton, Billy Bob Thornton. I don't know everything about this film. I don't really know anything about the film, but it was a suggestion because I heard Van Lathan talk about it. Van Lathan is a thinker, a podcaster. He's dope. I've been following him. I listen to a lot of his podcasts. This is interesting. This is a small town police chief concealing an explosive secret. A pair of ruthless drug dealers. Co-writer Billy Bob Thornton and Michael Beach. Okay. I am in. Crime, drugs, guns, sex, drama. I'm in. It's Criterion. I'm in. All right. Eyes Wide Shut, Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman. Seen it already. Seen it when I was very young. Probably shouldn't have been watching it. It came out in 1999. You know, that's the time of HBO. They would show a lot of movies on HBO. Family would be asleep. I'd be up late watching Cinemax, HBO. Eyes Wide Shut came on. Knew who Stanley Kubrick was. As I got older and got into cinema, I was a fan of Stanley Kubrick. 2001 Space Odyssey, specifically Clockwork Orange. I think I seen that on cable. I was blown away. Didn't know. I was just like, wow. Wow. This was at the time I was like, yeah, I know I want to get into film and become a filmmaker. And I was just blown away by what Stanley Kubrick was doing and the watching The Shining, stuff like that. Eyes Wide Shut. Interesting. Steamy. I would say steamy. Interesting underworld, New York City. Occultic. There's a lot of lore around it. They said that Stanley was spilling secrets of the underworld in Hollywood and what goes down. But interesting enough, this was his last film. He passed away, I guess, during the production of it. Like, it was done, but before release, he died. So it's an important piece to have in the collection. I'm adding it to some of the other stuff I have of his, Paths of Glory. I have The Shining. I have what else? Barry Lyndon. So yeah, this is going in my Stanley Kubrick section, and I'm excited to crack it back open. Okay, last but not least, Criterion is doing a good job of curating a lot of black cinema, black artists. This is a movie that's really important to me because this was something that was played in the house. Um, Something that I watched on TV, something that I actually, pulled out the VHS and popped in that belonged to my brother because I could not have this. This was done in 1990. I'm pretty sure this was rated R. And I probably there's another one that I probably shouldn't have been watching. That's a somewhat of a theme, you know. But I think that's important, like exposing, but like pushing that exposure, but also having those conversations. End up having like conversations with my brother around this movie and Reginald Hudlin, great director. He also does like some live production stuff. Like I'm pretty sure he's produced a couple of the BET awards and some different awards. But Reginald Hudlin is dope. I love House Party. It's fun. It reminds me of a particular time, when I was younger. The fashion of that time, all of that stuff is still in my mind. This was around the time that I was becoming and learning and being engulfed in hip hop. Young, having an older brother who's playing Big Daddy Kane, Rakim, all of that dope stuff. But House Party, Reginald Hudlin, I'm excited to get back into this. So yeah, that was the pickups for July. I'm really excited to jump into these pieces and have more conversations about it. I'm probably gonna pick up a couple of more pieces maybe this week before the sale is over. I'm really excited. Like, once again, I am Justin, and this is 24 Thoughts Per Second, where we don't just watch movies or review them, but we have thoughtful conversations about them. I'm out. Peace.